Hey Internet, it's me. And the real horror I watched tonight was what my dog did to this little hedgehog. It's dead now. And now she's gonna kill it for me. Okay, so tonight's movie was The Abandoned. And I have to say, I think I like sci-fi now. This movie was great. This might be my favorite one I've seen so far this month. I like Followed. I like Chad Gets the Axe. Black Hollow Cage wasn't actually terrible. It was confusing, but the more I've thought about it, the more it's kind of grown on me. But this one was better than all of those. This was just really, really good. Most of the movie was very minimal. The set was just basically a big gray box with tiles on the walls. For the most part, there was only, I guess you'd say, two actors. Really one actor and then a voice actor. It was very minimal. They didn't have to do a lot as far as effects. They had a rotating stage, that was about it. And even that, they had so many quick cuts that it could have easily just been someone against a wall thrusting themselves forward against the floor. So really, they might not have even had a rotating set. It might have just been some creative camera angling and good acting. But yeah, they did a lot with a little, and I very much enjoyed this movie. I did just mention good acting a second ago. The acting here was great. The lead was super believable as someone who, he was the soldier in the very beginning, and then in the room, he's trying to, brute force his way and just be the soldier, but then he starts having like PTSD and basically a mental breakdown. And it's very well acted and very believable the whole time. And then the person he's talking to on the phone, has a history of being a domestic abuse victim. And just the way she'll get triggered by certain things and kind of just, not bipolar or anything, but the way she'll just lose her temper and the things that she'll say are also just very believable and very well acted. I don't know, everyone just did a really good job. I was completely on board with the characters. I totally believed everyone in their role. And, for the movie itself, I was just enamored the whole time. Like, at no point was I bored. I was very invested in what was going on and trying to figure out what would happen next and, how the situation happened. Everything here was really well done. The pacing was great, too, honestly. The way... you're not stuck in the army stuff at the beginning very long. It does not take long at all to get into the major crux of the movie. And then once it does, the whole time you're just kept guessing, how did you get here? What's going on? And there are little hints at things. I put together that they were in different, by the way, spoilers, that they were in different times before the dude figured it out. The way they were talking, it didn't sound like it just kind of made sense. That they were in different years. And then once he figured that out, then it was like, okay, well, how is this going to play into things? How are they going to work together? For example, when she saw his phone number because he engraved it on the floor there. And then once he engraved it, she saw it show up and she was able to call him. Likewise, they could communicate back and forth with the formula they were working on. So it's like, okay, how are their communications going to help? What can they do? Are they going to go back and forth and do these things? It does make you wonder who wrote The Abandon All Hope at the beginning, unless they have the poet Dante trapped in there. But yeah, I don't know. I was very invested. I was very interested. Everything was perfectly paced to keep me on board and to keep things moving forward and give you enough information, but never drag you down or over-explain or become like a slog. It was very well done and just, very snappy, and it kept things moving, and it really keeps you engaged. I know this review has been a bit over the place. I've kind of changed topics 12 times already, I feel like. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of all the things I like, and it was just all the things. Even the set for, like I said, it was just a big room, like a 6 by 6 gray squares on each wall, and then it kept shrinking to 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. And yeah, they just, I don't know, even that played off really well. The room looked somehow imposing, even though there wasn't any detail to it. Um, and like they said, there was light despite not being a light source, which obviously there was, in fact, a light source. They were on stage. But, the way they pulled that effect off, like it was really cool and also kind of helped, explain the impossibility of the room. Um, yeah, I don't know. I loved everything about this movie. This was a very good movie. I was very engaged. It really kept me interested the whole time. I don't know that I would call it horror. I would call it suspense. I would call it a thriller because you're engaged and you're a little tense, wondering what's going to happen next. But horror, if you want to be pedantic about it, horror, at least to me, always indicates some sort of like monster or immediate physical threat. Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Chucky, all those slashers, those are all like horror because they're trying to get away from this monster. You have like Final Destination, where it's, I don't know, a lot of people might call it suspense too. I would consider that horror only because then, you have like death. You have this imposing force that is coming after them and actively trying to kill them. Whereas this movie, it didn't feel like anyone was actively trying to kill them. It felt like they were in a potentially fatal situation and were trying to save themselves from it. Uh, it's a weird distinction. It might be different for everybody, which is fine. You can define horror however you want. But for me, this didn't necessarily feel like horror. That being said, super glad it's in this marathon because I really, really enjoyed this movie. So if you're doing a marathon, or if you're just in the mood for a tense kind of movie, or hell, if you're a horror fan, you define horror loosely, I'd recommend this. If you like movies at all, really, honestly, give this one a go. It is very interesting. It is very well done and well written and well acted, and it's beautifully shot. I love everything about this movie. It's very good, and you should all go watch it. That is my review. All of that rambling just to get to that. You should all watch it. And now I'm going to stop rambling. I will go, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.